Hey guys, it is Arika Misha, and today, if you guys have been watching, is my episode 2 of my spiritual journey. Episode 2, guys. And of course, you guys know I have my notes written down. Y'all, I got about 3 or 4 pages today. But I'm going to try to make it cute and quick, under 10 minutes. Because, after 10 minutes, people don't be wanting to watch. But anyway, guys, so today is episode 2. My name is Arika Misha, if you are new here. And I have decided to share on my platform my spiritual journey. Once again, I am a child of the King. I live for God. Am I perfect? No. Anyway, let's get into it, guys. So, today's topic, I wanted it to be growing up in the church. Because remember, episode 1, I was telling you guys how, I'll just leave that video link below. You guys can go check that video out. I don't want to go back to the video. You can just go back and watch it. Today, I titled this, Growing Up in the Church. And the scripture that I have to go with this is the old famous Proverb 22:6. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Train a child up in the way that he should go. That is Proverbs 22:6. Alright, now, my next section, I did title it Transitioning. Alright, and let me read a little bit of what I wrote down. Because like I said, y'all, I wrote a lot down. And because it's just some things I know I get to talking, but I just want to make sure I say certain things and share certain things with you guys. Alright, so transitioning. And what I mean by that, I had to transition from not going to church to going to church. Remember, my mom wasn't always in the church. So I went from being a little kid that played outside every day and transitioning to a kid that went to church every day. So I didn't get to see my friends that much anymore, only in school and sometimes on the weekends. I started feeling like I wasn't a regular kid. I felt like, okay, why am I in church all the time? And why are my friends not? I wanted to be with my friends. My friends would say, why are you always in church? And I would say, I don't know. Ask my mama. I don't know. I'm just doing what I'm told. I don't know. Alright. I was 5 years old when my mom gave her life to Christ. And now, at this point, I'm 8 years old. And all I want to do is be with my friends. Not realizing now that God had changed my life path. Which, like I said, God already had my path already written from the beginning to the end. But my life path was no longer the same. Alright, hanging out with my friends. Yeah, things changed, Once I started going to church, I was, like I said, I was 5 years old when my mom gave her life to Christ. I was 5 years old. So around 8, when I was about 8 years old, is when I started noticing that I was always in church and I wasn't hanging out with my friends after school. It was get home from school, do your homework, eat dinner, go to church, and by the time we got home from church, it was time to go to bed. So I didn't really see any of my friends. I saw them in school, but you know how that is. So I saw my friends in school, didn't really see them that much actually at all after school. Because like I said, homework, dinner, and we was going to church. So like when I did see my friends like on the weekends, they'd be like, oh, why you always in church? And I was like, I'm 8 years old, I don't know. Go ask my mama. I dare you. Anyway, so I wanted to make sure I talked about this part because as kids, when we grow up, a lot of things that we went through as kids stick with us as we grow up, or how can I say, help develop us, or we learn from things when we were little and they kind of stick with us when we grow up. So I did want to make sure I touched on it about how I was a kid, and I felt like like out of place. I felt like I couldn't hang with my friends and they were having fun without me and I'm stuck in church. Yeah, that's how I felt. Like here I am stuck in church all day. And my friends out playing. I mean, I used to be in church like, man, my friends out playing, having fun, and I'm here stuck in church. That's just how I felt, 8-year-old kid. You don't want to be stuck in church. You want to go play with your friends. You want to go laugh and play. At that age, that's just how you feel. And that's how I felt at that age. Like, I just want to go play with my friends. I don't know about all this churching and preaching and singing and stuff. I don't know about all that. I just want to go play with my friends. But being a child, doing what I was told, But like I said, the transitioning from being outside all day with my friends to not doing that, it affected me. It was like, wow, okay, wait, what's going on? You know, and I felt like, man, like I'm not like with the cool kids no more. Like I'm not hanging out with the kids no more. Like, what's going on? But anyway, moving on to the next section. It said, now, with me going to church, I started making new friends. When I started going to church, of course, I started making friends with the kids that was going to church just like me. Like, it was like, girl, your life ain't over because you ain't hanging with your friends. When you go to church, you just make new friends. And that's exactly what I did. Start going to church, and I started being friends with the kids, and they was friends with me. Hey, we was like, hey, you here, you stuck here, I'm stuck here. You don't want to be here, I want to be here. So we're going to be friends. And that's exactly what happened. God opened the door where I started making friends with the kids that also had to go to church. You know, and I can remember like sitting with those kids, and they was frowning, I was frowning, and I was like, I don't want to be in church all day. And they was like, I don't want to be here either. I be like, I hate church. 8 years old. And they be like, I hate church too. And they was like, and I was like, oh, you hate church too? Oh, you my friend, you my friend. It was just so funny. Like, you know, here it is. Now I have these kids. We had something in common. They were going to church. They were in church all week. I see them all week. They see me all week. So I was like, okay. So now I became more comfortable in church because I was like, okay, I got me some church friends. You know, now, I mean, at that age, around that 8, 9, 10 age, you know, that's the age where you just like, you know, friends. You got to have friends. And like, you think friends are so important, you know. Like, you just feel like if I ain't got friends, I ain't normal. And you know, that's just how I felt. But once I started making friends with the church kids, and I realized that we had a lot in common, like being in church all week, I was like, okay, good. So, yeah, so that made me feel good. That made me feel more comfortable in the church. I just want to make sure I said that too. Okay, so I wasn't the only kid. I talked about that. All right. I mean, as kids, I can only say, I didn't hate church. It was just the fact of being there, feeling like you're an 8-year-old kid, you're stuck there in church, and the other kids out playing, you know, so you kind of feel like, oh, I gotta be here, all the time, you know. So, I don't want to say I hated church. It was just being somewhere that my friends weren't. But like I said, all thanks to God, I made new friends, church friends, child, who was just as miserable as me, being in church all the time. But anyway, okay, so I touched on that. Okay, now let's get into this. Growing up in a church when I was a kid, 8 years old, and one thing that I struggled with, I didn't understand the Bible. 8 years old, and y'all know how the Bible reads, thou shalt not, and all that, and hither, and like I didn't really understand it at 8 years old. I was like, I'm not understanding this. I'm not getting this Bible. It's confusing, you know. As an 8-year-old kid, I was like, I ain't getting this, and this Bible don't make sense. I can remember my mom giving me her Bible, and my mama had one of them big giant dictionary-sized Bibles that was heavy, that when I sat it in my lap, it covered my whole entire lap. She had one of them old school Bibles. But I can remember getting my mom's Bible and sitting it on my lap. That joke was heavy too. But yeah, I remember sitting that Bible on my lap and trying to read it, and I was like, thou shalt not, and nah, I don't understand all this, you know. And so that was another thing, you know, that, you know, kind of had me a little uncomfortable, not understanding. Of course, I see the preacher up there reading the Bible and hearing him, but I didn't really fully understand, like, what the Bible meant. The words were just really confusing to me. So that was something that bothered me as a kid, you know. Hey, okay, now I'm getting comfortable, and I'm trying to understand, and I'm not understanding this thing. I'm not understanding this Bible. This King James Bible, I'm not understanding it. So that was a struggle for me. It's like reading a book and you don't really understand, like, what? And that's how it was for me. Okay, so now I had new friends. Okay, and then they started taking us in the back, like taking the kids in the back, like reading like little kid stories to us, you know, like trying to help us understand the Bible more. They had like little stories from the Bible, but they had like little kid stories, you know. But they didn't have like they have now. Nowadays, they have so many different Bibles, so many kid Bibles, teen Bibles, adult Bibles, so many Bibles. But back then, they didn't have all that. All they had was a King James Bible. That's all they had back then. King James, that's all we had. We didn't have all this other stuff they got now. Thank God that they have all this other stuff, you know, to help the young people, like my daughters, to help them understand. They have like the teen Bibles, which is good because it helps them understand the Bible more. And I was like, man, I wish we had one of them. I wish we had those back in the day. You know, that would definitely make me feel more comfortable. But you know what? As time went on, as I grew up and became a teenager, I started understanding the Bible better. So it all worked out. But I just wanted to talk to y'all about some things. You know, being a kid in church and things that I struggled with, you know. Alright. So yeah, the King James Version, the KJV, King James Version Bible. Just want to go over all these new Bibles they got out now. The ESV, English Standard Version. The NIV, New International Version. The NLT, New Living Translation. And they got the teen Bibles, the kid Bibles. I'm telling you, they have so many different types of Bibles out there to help interpret it for everybody. The kids, the teenagers, the pre-adults, the adults, the older. They got all kind of Bibles. I just told y'all, NLT, NIV, ESV, King James Version, PYT, child, they got them all. They got all kind of versions of Bibles out there. And like I said, I just wish they had them back in my day. That would have definitely helped the sister out. Trying to figure that Bible out. But yeah, anyway. Alright, so yeah, I went over that with the different Bibles that they have out now. In conclusion, I have my little cute look in conclusion here, you all. In conclusion, it was hard for me to transition, you know, from not going to church to going to church, you know, and I thank God that, you know, I became friends with some of the church kids, you know, like, it was like, hey, God was like, it ain't that serious. He's like, okay, you got to make new friends. And see, it's funny because it's like my old friends, because they didn't go to church with me, like it was like the church kids became my new friends because I saw them all the time. And my friends that didn't go to church really didn't see them much. So I had to transition from those friends to the church kid friends. So it was definitely a transition, y'all. Being a kid, you know, at 8 years old. And like I said, when I was 5, my mom got in the church, and I've been in the church ever since I was 5 years old, you know. And it has been a learning experience, especially at 8 years old. You know, that feeling of not fitting in, like feeling like, man, why am I always in church and why I can't hang out with my friends, you know. And it taught me a lot. It taught me the importance of what was important, and it wasn't about friends, whether it was the friends outside of church or friends in church, because them friends in church was something else too. We ain't gonna talk about that, but yeah, like I said, we were all kids trying to learn, you know, and learn the right thing and do the right thing and still being kids. So, well, none of us perfect. So, but yeah, that's all I wanted to do today, guys. I just wanted to kind of chat with y'all a little bit about being a 8-year-old kid growing up in church, not hanging out with my friends. But I'm over there. To God be the glory. Alright, y'all, that is it for today. I will definitely be, like I said, taking you guys with me from the beginning to the present of my spiritual journey. I hope to help someone. I hope to encourage someone, use my platform to help. That's all I want to do. Things that I went through in life, I realized that God put me through things in my life to help others. A lot of times when we go through things, we think it's just all, oh, I'm just going through it. It's just on my vein. No. When we go through something, you can talk to someone, you can teach somebody, talk from your experience and say, hey, you know what, I know how you feel, I went through that. I understand, I went through that. And that's exactly what God revealed to me years ago. Things that you're going through, things that you're gonna go through, it's not all for nothing. It's to help somebody out and to help you grow and help you get stronger where you need to get at in Christ. You know, and I thank God for that every day. So this is gonna be definitely quite a few episodes. This episode number 2, y'all. I think it's gonna be episode 2.5K. It's gonna be a lot of episodes, y'all. This gonna be. I hope y'all gonna be here from the beginning to the present. Cause this spiritual journey, man, it started from, like I told y'all, from me being 5 years old, just getting into the church. So now we at 8. But my next video, I kind of thought I'd kind of move from the 8, 9, 10 and start getting into that teenage. Yeah, tell y'all some things I struggled with as a teenager being in church. Yeah, definitely want to share that with y'all. I definitely want to share that with y'all. So, alright guys, let me wrap this video up. It is over my 10 minutes. I hope y'all stayed until the end. Once again, this is Arika Misha sharing my spiritual journey on my platform. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media at Arika Misha. And don't forget, guys, that knowledge is power. Thanks, guys. Bye.